The first snowfall has come and gone, putting the garden one step closer to its winter slumber. Come with me as I share part 3 of putting the garden to bed and share with you some ideas about winter interest for your own garden. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Grow You Girl channel. My name is Sherry. This is my garden here behind me, and I am today going to share with you part 3 of this whole series around putting your garden to bed. Now, we've had that first snowfall. It has melted. One of the things right here on the Front Range of Colorado, I'm just outside of Boulder in Zone 6A. Our snow, for the most part, comes and goes pretty quickly, and especially these first few snowfalls. Though I've heard in southern Colorado they had, 55 inches or something crazy. So you never know. You just never know what's going to happen here at the base of the Rocky Mountains. But today, it's a beautiful blue sky day. I want to go back in, take care of taking out the annuals that are done for the season, cutting back the perennials, doing one more layer of compost, and really putting the garden to bed. Because as I've shared previously, I really do want to have a clean garden. Our kitchen is right behind me up there, and we want to have a beautiful garden with winter interest in it, and we'll talk more as we walk around about how do you get more winter interest in your garden. I mean, depending on where your garden is, it might be tucked over to the side of your house and you don't really care, but if it's in a main place, why not enjoy it over those winter months when we're sitting inside just looking out wishing we could be back in that garden again, right? So today I'm going to turn the camera around. We're going to take a look at the different beds, what still needs to be done, and some actually surprising things that have surprised me, that even with that, we were down to about 23 degrees with that snow one morning, that it didn't kill off everything. Some things are still trying to plug it in there. So let's take a look. All right, here we go. One thing I'll share with you is that I got a new pair of these Work Pro snippers that I got from Amazon. I'll put a link below. My snippers actually broke right about here. The metal just said, no more, you have used me too much. So I got some new ones. So I'm going to be putting them to the test today. But here we are in, like, this bed, I didn't get the Black-Eyed Susans because I had this spider that I was just loving so much, and I don't see her anywhere. So I think I'm going to go ahead and cut that down today. Everything else is pretty far down to the ground. We'll put another layer of compost and get some of the dead cut off, and that's it. But most everything in the main garden here has been, I showed in last week's video, pulling up the dahlia tubers, and if you missed that, please take a look at that. It was a pretty exciting time for me. But everything else, and I usually leave this lamb's ear, I will leave it until it's just still pretty and looks lovely, so I'm gonna leave it. It's pretty hardy in colder weather. One of the things that we did, speaking of winter interest, we started bringing more evergreen shrubs into the garden just so that we would have more. And this, I think it's called a Gregorian. I'll put it up on the screen here if it's different than that, but this little pine, and it has just been lovely. And it's just to think about putting evergreen into your garden area really does help when everything else dies back. We've got quite a bit of snow up in the high country. You can see it way up there. Beautiful. All right, so here we've got this artichoke that is just gotten so hardy that, I mean, I know it won't last until spring. It would be a miracle if it does, because the artichokes are actually annuals here in Zone 6A. They don't survive the winter, but man, this one is plugging hard at that. We've got this bed to clean up today, and one of the things that I always make sure to do as I'm cleaning up some of these annuals is just to make sure that all the seed buds, most of these are emptied out, have been emptied out here, because they will provide, new plants next spring. So most all of these, as I cut it back and get these cleaned out, is just making sure that I've got all the seeds. Like, look at this one. Look at all the seeds in this. It's pretty cool. Yes, indeed. And I just throw them around. We've got this, which I will not cut back. It's going to be quite an experiment to see if this Helleborus will keep its leaf color. I think that it will. And it's just really, again, another evergreen, but everything else in this bed, in the Mary bed, and I'm going to cut back the rose bush today. I know there's a lot back and forth about whether you should cut them back or not, but I really want this to become a climbing vine, and I've heard that they will climb hardier in the second year if they're cut back. If it's true, I don't know, but we will find out. We've got a lot of leaves to pick up. Most of the trees out here, except for the apple tree that's right above me, have lost their leaves. The ash trees have both completely lost, and as you saw in the last couple of videos, absolutely a spectacular falling of the leaves this year. We've got a lot to pick up over there. And then the lettuce bed is still producing. I mean, it's one of the nice things about having these cool weather crops is that they will still produce. And, you know, I'm going to clean this out, compost it back, and look at even just some flowers are still hanging in there. But most everything is done for sure, and I will be cleaning this up, including getting a lot of these weeds up. I don't want to leave these weeds that just got so prevalent this year, and I kind of ignored them in this bed. I want to get those up today. So I've got a lot of work to do, and including we got to get all these leaves up. There's a lot, a whole tree right there. But little things. One of the things that we got for winter interest this year too is this little a blue spruce. It's dwarf blue spruce, and I'm really loving that a lot. We picked up this week, or actually it was last week, we picked up this carving, and I'm going to back it up so you can see, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. And again, something to provide winter interest. We have had on this tree stump, we've had, you know, we usually put a pot in the summertime and all that, but now we have Ollie the owl, as we call this, and that's really a delightful thing in the garden. This window box, I will mainly just get a lot of the leaves off. I've got a heuchera in here, so I'm gonna cut it back as much as I need to, but really just cleaning it up. And even just these snapdragons are still doing really good. Yeah, so we've got most of the stuff put up on the patio. The big can is waiting for all the leaves, and we've got things wrapped up. One of the things that we did this summer is that we did this cold plunge. We got this cold plunge. I'll put a link for that below too, which we enjoyed so much. But one of the things that my husband and I realized as we got, let me just show you the inside of this. There it is, the water inside. It's just too cold now for us. It gets down to about 38, 39 degrees. We like it around 50. That's when cold plunging works for us. But we have, so we'll be putting that down today and bringing it back in the spring. And then really kind of cleaning off some of this. We don't want the pond. There's actually some plants in here that need to be taken out. And we don't want it to get stagnant because of the birds really use this for water. So we want to keep the water as clean as we can through the winter months. And look at that. Yeah, one flower is still trying to hold on. So that's what I'm looking at today, is getting in and cleaning this up. And we'll see where it takes us as the day progresses. Well, one last basketful full today, and I have to say that One thing I haven't talked about this whole cleanup is please, 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 I hope that you never use any kind of plastic bags, even the paper bags. You know, if anything, just put it out with your trash as you can. But we have two large compost bins that we have all year long. I mean, luckily, we're very blessed that we have compost pickup here. And I mean, you saw all those leaves earlier. They're in there. Ed crunches them up quite a bit. And so we get those into the bins, and there'll be more as we go. But mostly the garden for this moment in time is done, and I can just start dreaming. I'll be in the weeks ahead, and my new snippers. I just realized they're sitting here on the ground. My new snippers have been amazing. I'm loving them. And in the weeks ahead, we've got lots of things coming up, a couple of projects to share with you, and what else that we some craft projects that I have with some pressed flowers and just all kinds of goodies as we head into these colder months. And I'll show you my setup of plants downstairs. Look at this. My cherry berry is just so sweet right next to this statue, who I do keep her out all winter. Her name is Joy, and she brings joy to the garden. And this one fairy, I leave this fairy out all winter. She's been out here for many, many years. And then I have this metal fairy that's over here as well to protect the garden. And I did see my little spider running around here. So I started to take all the flowers down, and then I saw her scurrying around in there. I haven't seen her up in the, making her nest or her web up in here as she has been. So I just left those there for her, and that is it. So my friends, until next week, onward we grow. And just remember to still get out in the garden, even if it's cold, walk around, see how things are doing. And there's still things that are going to hang on for some time to come. Let me know where you're at with your cleanup process. How's it going in the garden? And if you haven't checked out our previous couple of weeks, do that. And I will see you next week. I just realized as I was putting away the basket here into the barn, I started off this 3-part series with the barn was pretty well cleared out, but you can see how it has now been filled with a lot of things from the garden. The flamingos have made it in here safe and sound. My fairies are in here, and just all kinds of tools and pots and irrigation stuff. So this is where they will hang until the weather turns warm again. So I'm very grateful to this barn for all that it allows us to store. And I hope that you have great storage spots for your garden tools as well. And that, my friends, will wrap us up for this week. Onward we grow. And here's to, great times ahead as we find new projects to work on over the winter months. Thanks for growing with us, and we will see you next time. And in the meantime, be sure to like, comment, let us know what really resonated for you in this video, and then of course be sure to subscribe at no cost to you and be updated when we have new videos up to play.